Joining me now is Democratic Congressman Mike Quigley of Illinois. He met with President Zelensky yesterday. He co-chairs the Ukraine caucus and serves on the Appropriations Committee. Is there any deal afoot to resolve this border dispute and get something? I don't know how you'd get it to the floor unless they stayed in town.
Yeah, no one's staying in town. I was asked, are we done this week? Yeah. Well, we're leaving this week, but we're not done with the people's business. I suspect the soonest we'll vote on any aid to Ukraine will be in January, maybe February. And it truly is a mistake to tie it, a critical foreign policy objective with real impacts on our own national security, to a very partisan political issue in the U.S. President Biden has signaled that we're open to those discussions and additional aid to help address the southern border issues, but tying the two together is a mistake. It hurts us and it hurts our allies.
And it's so important to the nation. It's important to your state of Illinois. I've been to the Ukrainian village in Illinois, in Chicago, and talked to people there and seen what the church there is doing in housing all these refugees. But what people seem to be ignoring, Congressman, is that 95% of this aid goes to the U.S. defense companies. This is money that's being plowed back into our GDP.
It's plowed back into our GDP, but the U.S. and our allies have been giving Ukraine much of our older technology and weaponry and replacing it with modern areas. So from many respects, it's keeping us safe. But I do think, I know you mentioned General Milley and Secretary Austin. I think it's time to listen to their words as well, because they said if we let Putin's aggression go attacked, he will continue this, and we'll have to virtually double our defense budgets, and there'll be additional bloodshed because Putin won't stop at Ukraine.
And I just want to also talk to you about the impeachment inquiry, because that is, while they're not resolving this budget dispute, the impeachment inquiry is the debate is about to start. I can't see, even though they only have a 3-vote margin, if all of those Republicans, minus Ken Buck, he says, vote for it, they're going to be able to launch this impeachment inquiry. Sure. What are the Democrats going to do?
Well, look, we have 2 international crises and plenty of problems at home that we all agree that we have to address. And I remind Speaker Johnson that he said the Trump impeachment would cause irreparable damage to our country. That on a president who attempted to extort our ally, Ukraine, in one measure, and in the other, he incited a violent insurrection, a coup against our own country that was on tape in both instances. In this case, we have allegations against President Biden, which are unsubstantiated, and I believe my friends across the aisle have misplaced priorities and are doing this for extraordinarily dangerous partisan reasons.
And let me also ask you about Israel, because the president's sharpest criticism to date against Prime Minister Netanyahu, it really was a break yesterday in what they've been trying to do, what he has at least been trying to do, because of the high casualty rates. And there's no question that Hamas started the war. October 7th was gruesome, savage, brutal, and, unprecedented. But the argument from the president, and certainly from Lloyd Austin and Tony Blinken and others, is that Israel is now at risk of losing so much support in Europe, at the UN, elsewhere, across the United States, because of the casualty rates. If you believe even a fraction of the Hamas claims, they've lost 18,000 people, including 7,500 children. So what are your constituents saying about criticizing Israel now?
Sure. Look, Israel has the absolute right to defend itself. I was in Gaza after a conflict in 2009 and saw just exactly how Hamas uses civilians in the most cynical way possible. But it is also true that how the war is prosecuted has a lot of impact in the future. If you want to tear Hamas down, understand it's not just a military force, it's a movement. And the way you move forward in this conflict, if if what it does in effect is recruit further Hamas soldiers in the future, you're not accomplishing your ultimate goal. So Israel has to be very careful under extraordinarily difficult circumstances, and they need to improve how they're doing that.
And right now, hostages are meeting with the president for the first time. They'd met on Zoom before, but they're in person in the White House, and we may be hearing from some of those hostage family members, including at least one released hostage, meeting with the president right now. I also want to get your reaction on a busy day up here to Hunter Biden ignoring a subpoena from a House committee. We don't know what Democrats said when Jim Jordan did exactly the same thing, saying that he would have a deposition in public or a hearing in public, but he did not want to meet privately with the committee, which has been the procedure for many committees, because he felt that they would not accurately reflect his testimony. And now they're threatening contempt.
Sure. Look, I was part of the first impeachment investigation as a member of the Intel Committee and many other investigations in which Republicans thumb their nose at lawful subpoenas. I don't think anyone should ignore a lawful subpoena. A congressional subpoena needs to be serious in how it's put forward, but it needs to be responded to as well. I can't blame Hunter Biden, though, wanting this to be public and asking for the condition that it be public. And I don't know why my Republican colleagues have a concern with that, because they're the ones for open government as much as anyone, right? Well, now's the time to be very public and transparent, because this is a serious investigation.